Good evening and welcome to Speaker Club Saturday night number 125. Let me say it again because it feels yesterday when I said on 23rd of May 2020, welcome to Speaker Club. And at that point in time, it was not Saturday night number and all that stuff. So let me again reassure or reiterate to myself that this is happening and we have come this long in this journey. Welcome to Speaker Club Saturday night number 125 with a theme of celebrating 125 Saturday nights of this long journey of almost 2.5 years that we have come here and built this platform, a platform where we have all experienced perspectives, we have all shared our stories, we have all connected and learned so much from each other. Like I've always mentioned, this is not a platform that I own. It's a platform of perspectives, and what I own is only what my perspective that I share. And that's where you own it because you share your perspectives too. And that's where this community, I can proudly say, of being the organizer or the builder of this community in the sense of only initiating these sessions. But what we have experienced and learned over this period is something that all of us own together. And as an experience, we have learned in this journey. So to put in context for today's session, what we're going to be having is, because I didn't want to have it just like any other celebration or just a party, have fun and then leave off. I also wanted to have this session clubbed with an inspiration series where we are going to have a small activity based learning or reflections in today's session, which will be a kind of, I'm not sure if I guess only 2 people are there in this session who attended our 25th Saturday night and who are yet even today with us today, because this is a program called as Wisdom Balloon, which is something very close to my heart, on how we can learn wisdom from a few balloons and the stories that we can curate from that. So this will be a session which will be highlighting about what we can learn from a balloon, about life and much more. So in that sense, we'll be having this short session. I'll make sure that we keep it short so that we can spend a lot of time post this session where we all can actually experience and what all we have learned in this process, in this journey. And I'll also be sharing my experience of what I've learned in this process over this last 2.5 years of this journey. So let's get going with today's session. First and foremost, let me all first ask you, if you look at where you learn from, there was an instance that I'd like to share with you all before I get into this activity and this session. There was this instance where I'd done this program for a corporate, and the next day morning, I got a call from the wife of one of the person who attended this program. And she was curious. She was curious because she was asking me, what was the session all about? What was the program all about? What did you teach him? What happened in that session that I'm not sure why, but since the time he has come back yesterday night after attending your program, he's been staring at me. He's been gazing at me. He's not slept the whole night. And he's just sitting like that and not saying anything at all. That's when I just mentioned to her, the program that we talked, or the program that we delivered yesterday, was about facing your fears. And that changed what he was doing. And I can't take the authority or control of what you'll be learning from your experiences, but I can only share snippets of perspectives and you going back and applying those learnings in your world in different facets. And today is a classic example where we have all experienced and played with balloons. We have all experienced and played with balloons. But have you ever thought of what all can we learn from the simple experience of playing or seeing how a balloon operates? And that's what I would like to share today, of 4 simple questions that I would like to ask you all, and want you all to reflect on what lesson that you can learn and take back from those 4 questions for your own life in whatever facet that you're looking at it. It could be about your professional journey. It could be about your personal goals. It could be about your relationships. It could be about different facets that we all engage in and we all experience at different times. But the question is for you to ask, how are you going to take the learning and apply them in that facet? Am I sorry, is there disturbance that you can hear from my back end? Or is it okay? Because I can see my daughter is playing outside and there's a lot of, is it just me or is it that? Yeah, can you hear that? All okay? Okay, perfect. Let me continue. Chetan, you can take the camera a little closer. That'll be helpful. Okay, so let's move in with the four perspectives, the four questions that I want you all to, I want each one of you all to reflect on in this journey of playing with the balloons. We all loved and we have memories as a child of how we used to play with balloons and the things that we did, but that was all fun and that was little to do with what we can learn from that wonderful activity. So first and foremost, I would like, who all have balloons with you all right now? Can you just raise your hand? Need not be the virtual hand, just the physical hand. Okay, wonderful. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So let me have this first activity where you have to blow your balloons. All you have is 30 seconds and I want you all to blow your balloons. 30 seconds and the time starts now.
Just one or
Virtual background, I think happened.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Now, Jay, the question that I wanted to ask you was, you asked that question after almost blowing your first balloon. Dinesha, you were rushing when I said, when there was no context put, you were rushing to start blowing your second. The air was going out from your balloon. That's a different case. Akanksha, you just had one balloon. Wonderful. Dinesha, one balloon, no more balloons, or time was up? Akanksha, you had one more balloon. Okay, wonderful. Now I would like to ask you, can you blow that, let that balloon go away in the air? As a child, someone just asked me, my son asked me when when he was, I think like around 3 or 4, and he saw that there was someone in the market who was blowing the balloons and they were flying away. They were flying away. And when he came home, he asked me to blow a balloon and then he asked me, why isn't this balloon flying away? Because why isn't your balloon flying away? Because, are you there?
Flying away.
Flying up.
Hello.
Yes, because.
Yeah, some internet. Yeah. So what was the question? Sorry, my internet connection is.
We have those balloons in the market which go up and up and up. Now you have blown a balloon. Why isn't it flying away?
We do not have hydrogen gas in it. If it has hydrogen gas, then it will fly away.
Okay. Dinesha?
What is there inside that will help her to go up?
Now I want you all to, each one of you all to ask, how many times have you asked this question? How many times have you asked this question to yourself, that why am I not succeeding? Why am I failing? Why are so many things happening to me? And yet put the question that it is happening, or put the blame on something outside. There was this interesting story of a black child. There's a story somewhere in the US where a black child was there and he came out and he saw, with all his experiences, a child with all his experiences that he had, he went to a beach and saw that a person who was selling these hydrogen balloons was blowing them and releasing them. And he saw that he was blowing a white balloon, it was flying off. He was blowing a red balloon, it flew off. He was blowing a yellow balloon, it flew off. The idea was so ingrained into this child's mind that he went and asked the man, if you blow a black balloon, won't that also fly? All because he was conditioned over a period of time that because he's black, of what is outside visible, he cannot succeed even if he has it within. So the question I want you all to ask is, how many times have you put the blame or the factor to anything that is stopping you or limiting you to something which is outside? I've come across short people. I've come across tall people. I've come across white people, I've come across black people, I've come across men, I've come across women. And I see that success stories across the globe in any facet or any factor isn't limited to one dimension or one specific criteria. I've seen that irrespective of all the category of people who are succeeding, it is all about the story that they have within. It's not what happens to you. It's not what happens to you. We often use this as an excuse that I'm born in this context, I'm born in this environment and this and that. Have you asked what is it that I can learn from it? And that is where the difference to success lies. What are you feeling within? What are you feeling within? Within is a focus because within is a reflection. A small kid, a case of a twin where both of were didn't have one hand each, and one went on to grow and another went on into depression. Why? Because they didn't have a hand. One was still succeeding because he looked at that and said that I don't know why God has given two hands to people when I can do everything with a single hand. And another one person was looking at it as the same question that I don't have. The world has two hands and I have something which is missing. The fact remains same for everyone, all the experiences, all the things that happen to us. But what differentiates each one of us is the reflection that we carry about that fact within us. That is what forms a difference or the differentiating factor between how we as individuals differ. There's someone who's succeeding and someone who's failing despite the same environment, despite the same context. If you look at deeper, you'll find the answer is what is within them. What reflection do they carry? Some people fill themselves with factors like joy, humility, and gratitude. And while the other people fill themselves with hatred, doubt, jealousy. And like it said, these positive emotions which are there are lighter in nature, and so they allow you to fly. While on the contrary, all these negative emotions, these negative things that you fill yourself are heavy. They drag you, they let you be down. Now, for everything that you're doing in your life, ask this one question. If you're not able to grow, you have to ask yourself, what is it that is limiting you or dragging you down and not allowing you to fly? Stop looking for the answers outside. If there is any, it is only inside, on what you can and what you should be changing to fly. So ask yourself, what's within? That's the first lesson that I learned. Second lesson, can I request all of you all who have blown the balloons to show it on the screen, please? Gone? Gone. Okay, the balloons are gone. Okay.
You asked us to
Okay.
let them go, so we.
I told you to let them go. Okay, you left it in that way. Interesting. Okay, if you can just show the color of the balloon. Okay, we have Akanksha, Bika, all, and Jay. If I were to ask you, if you remember the image of how it was blown or how it was, can I ask you to choose? Which balloon will you choose? Among the four balloons, which one would you choose? Dr. Rashmi, go ahead.
Balloon means color or specific?
So you saw four balloons in front of you. Which one would you choose?
Front of me?
So we had these Akanksha, Jay, Bikash, and Dinesha sharing their balloons. Okay, she's on mobile, so it could be challenging for her. So you need not choose something right now. All I'm asking you is, if I were to ask you to choose among the four of them, if I were to ask you to choose among the four of them,
Change color again.
Which one would you choose?
Means the name of
The balloon,
person
the balloon.
or,
Which balloon?
which is very light and which go fast up.
Okay.
That I will choose.
Okay. So first and foremost, here, let's get into this question which is there, and then I'll get on to the detail. I hope each one of you will have thought within yourself, which balloon are you choosing? Okay, you don't have to answer. The question now is, what's on the peripheral? Someone would be choosing the silver balloon of Jay. Someone would be choosing the light pink of Akanksha or the dark pink of Dinesha, or whatever colors that are visible to you. Now look at what you're choosing as whom you are choosing. What you see outside, is the question that I have to ask you. What's on the peripheral? We often look and judge things from what is on the peripheral. We often look at the lives of people or the people that we are looking at on what is visible externally, and the choices that are driven. And what we see often as an example, another example is when we look at people who are successful, we often look at what is the fame that they have. We look at the bank balance, what is the success story that the world is projecting. But if you were to look at within, if you go dig deeper, that is when you get to know the real story. Here, there are two perspectives that I would like to share when we judge on the peripheral. What is visible externally might not be what is true and the real one within. Because we are all masters. Forget about everyone else. Look at yourself and ask yourself this question. Am I perfect? But how do I project myself? Forget about judging others. I'm asking for yourself, and I do that for myself too. Am I flawless? But what image do I project externally? When you ask this question, you will, all of us equally, if we are true to ourselves, we'll say that we are flawed, we have our double standards, we have our missing pieces in our puzzle. But if you look at it deeper, doesn't it apply for everyone? Isn't everyone flawed? But yet we judge people or we choose people from what is visible on the periphery. The cosmetic aspects about how someone looks, how someone dresses, or how someone speaks, or how someone has a Facebook profile or Instagram profile. We often think how wonderful their life is, how beautiful, how perfect their life is, on the basis of the fact of what is visible externally. Only when you get deeper. So now you all have friends. You know your Facebook lives of your friends or your colleagues, whosoever we are talking of, and you know the reality of what is the real person. I'm not saying negative. I'm saying some people could be completely careless about how they present themselves. They might be real raw. But when you look at judging the other people who are polished and smart looking and very well presented, do you assume that they are like that in the real world? When I were to ask you, if you are to choose a team of people in your colleagues, in your college, wherever you are, if I were to ask you, choose a set of people who will be a part of your team, who would you choose? That basis of that decision, if it is based on what is peripheral, what is visible externally, we are often going to be limited in our choices of whom we are surrounded with. Because the reality of all of us, me and you equally, is very different from what is projected. And we can get to know that only by sitting and talking and getting deeper with people. Without that, there's little that you can judge them of who they truly are. As an example, I have this story of Kishore Biani. When you talk of the corporate hunks or the people who are very successful, the story and what is visible for them, if you go to meet Kishore Biani, the way he'll be presenting himself, the way he's habituated or the way he presents himself he'll be like this and he'll be talking to you. If you look at, as an example, Narayan Murthy, the way, the demeanor, the presentation that he has might not be now, but the way he was when he started his career was very different. You look at MS Dhoni, the way he presented himself when he started his career, the look, the feel, the way he talked was all a certain way. But if you were to choose Dhoni basis on the first speech that he had given, will you be choosing him? Would you want to sit with him and make him your friend? Because before you get to inside, you are limited with what is outside. We often judge people based on what is visible outside without going deeper and understanding who and what they have to offer. So With regard to getting in, don't look at what is visible on the cosmetic element. Get deeper, and that's when you know people. And more importantly, you'll find the right people if you go beyond the cosmetics. Anyone would like to share any thought over here on this idea, or anything that you have to think, anything that you'd like to add? Anyone? Yes, Dr. Ashmi, go ahead.
You should not judge the I mean, like, you should not judge book according to cover. You can see inside what, even present also, you don't do for like a outside wrapping. You can see what is inside. But I feel it is not 100% true. You need some presentation skill also, because for example, what is the Rashtrapati, you know what, Abdul Kalam.
Abdul Kalam.
Yeah, so we are representing our country, you know. So sometimes personality or presentation also very important. So I'm not telling 100% outside. You should not look outside, see inside. So this is my opinion.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Here again, like we have always been in this world of perspectives, double standards. When it comes to you yourself, you have to make sure you do not have elements which are limiting people to approach you. That's one perspective. Here, what I tried to share was about how are you seeing people and how are you approaching people, because you might miss out a gem just because it is covered with mud. Many times you have to get deeper to know the real value or the real talent of people. AJ, you wanted to share something?
Actually, what I have understood, am I audible?
A little louder.
Hello?
Audible, audible.
Yeah. What I have understood here, that we should not compare with positivity with negativity. It means whenever we compare, we just actually compare with our negativity with others' positivity. We are able to understand that what is negative within us, what is bad things within us, but we are not able to understand what is bad things to others. So we just compare to their good things with our bad things. It's the main problem. If we compare with our bad things to their bad things, then it will be actually equal. Yeah, but it's not possible.
Very interesting point. Thank you, AJ, for sharing that. Very well said with regard to how we compare and create our narratives within. When I'm looking at someone's good professional life, I could be thinking I don't have a professional life, but you never know inside how bad or how pathetic their relationships are, or the cost that they're paying as a result of being successful professionally. And we might feel, I want that success, but you could be having a good relationship, you could be having good family, you could be having good personal goals in the way you are accomplishing things. I think wonderful point said. Comparison of apples to apples is very important, but unless we know the complete person, we can never compare, because we are looking at not comparing in the right way. Wonderfully said, AJ. Thank you. Priscilla, go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, all of you. Actually, when from my childhood, I feel like when I saw some person, immediately I dislike. If some people, if I saw, immediately I dislike. If I dislike, I don't speak or I don't communicate like that. But I realized myself why I am disliking these people without knowing. They are not hurting me. They are not doing anything to me. But the moment I saw, I will dislike. So I feel like that. As I grow older and older, I start knowing that we should not do like that. So when I open my mind and talk to the people, I come to know, when comparing the other people whom I felt they are good, but actually my mind will be like, I dislike these people, but they, in their mind I'll find so much of good things. So this is what I want to say.
Thank you, Priscilla. Very interesting pointer. Now here in Priscilla's case, we could be thinking that there could be some reason, something in her childhood, some experience, some situation that could have created that, and as a result, she was limiting herself. Now, I want each one of you to reflect on your lives when you create prejudice, when you are thinking that before you get to know the story, if you are creating a picture and you're limiting yourself, ask yourself how many times have you had a wrong judgment about people because of this preconception. I'm not saying that is wrong. It's just that our experiences have made it so. And so today, when Priscilla says that today, when she's talking to people, knowing people, she's getting to know a different story. She sees the good in them. That's because she started to open herself and talk to people and get to know them. In your story, ask yourself, what is limiting you? What is stopping you? What beliefs or thoughts do you have which limit yourself from approaching or getting to know people's stories? Some experience, nothing right or wrong here, but some experience which could be affecting it, but that is limiting your opportunities and your potential. Abdul sir. Sorry, you're on mute, sir. You're on mute.
Hi, good evening.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I just wanted to add something. I have a number of friends from my school life. We have been like, the chutney buddies, what we call it. Everybody used to talk freely, communicate freely. So even if I meet them now, I know the personality of each individual. I believe that people haven't changed over a period of 10, 20, 30, 40 years. The personality, the inside is the same. Today, on different platforms, we meet several people. Some are very, well dressed, well spoken, very polished, etc. And on the other hand, we have some people who cannot express themselves. So we start forming opinions about them. So unless you spend some time, it is very difficult to understand people, to get to know more about them. That's the reason why, as somebody was saying that, I think Dr. Rashmi was saying, don't judge the book by its cover. Well, in most cases, most of the people, they judge people by their outer looks. This is the experience which I wanted to share. And I just would like to add one more thing. When I was in school, my school principal, Brother Jose Daniel, used to say that every night before you sleep, do a reflection of what good have you done today and what not so good you have done today, and do not repeat it. So that's a self-reflection. If you keep implementing that constantly in your life, you would become a better person. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul sir. Wonderful practice, especially I love the last part where you mentioned about how it is important to reflect, because reflecting and kind of one more practice which is called as journaling helps us stay grounded and look at ourselves and our thinking as a third person. That is something which is very important for us to grow, to look at ourselves also critically and what we are doing well and what we are doing wrong. So in that ways, it's a good growing journey that we can have. Let me move to the next point. The question number 3 that I had. Pratna, you want to share something? Go ahead.
So I just wanted to add on one point here, as I don't remember the mom's name. The moment she look at people, she used to have that opinions about them and the way she used to reciprocate and react with them. So over the period of time, what I have noticed, we can't judge people and it takes time. You go deeper and deeper and deeper, you explore them, and altogether they come up like a different personality. So it's always better, having spent my 20 years of life in the professional life, what I have decided one thing: keep your thoughts always positive and always speak positive words. And it is always useful, right? Even if you are having a misconception about the people, you are not going to harm, you are not going to strain your relations, and later on you don't have to patch up anything, and you are not going to mess up anything over there. But why I'm insisting on positive thinking, although you are not speaking bad about those people, but your thoughts are going and becoming judgmental, We all have to be mindful, and we have to remember that even though we won't speak, our total body would speak to the people. Even though we hold our tongue, but if you are thinking negative and becoming judgmental about others, our body is speaking. All the parts, or each and every cell of our body is speaking to others. They can get to know that what you are thinking, what kind of vibes you are passing to them. So always good to have neutral thought process, otherwise positive thought process, and hold on for the time to come to some conclusion. So these two practices would always help, especially in professional life. If we are not into professional life, not so big harm. But when you are in professional life, these two things everybody has to follow religiously. What I feel that.
Thank you, Pratna ma'am. Wonderfully said. Here, when you were saying about this point, I just reminded myself. I just remembered this fact of how I learned about this thing of using something called as delayed judgment. Push the judgment, give the benefit of doubt for one more day, one more moment, one more occasion. And that's where you will become certain of what you're judging. You already have a preconception that nobody can deny. But for you to seal that, if you delay your judgment, you are giving a better chance of judging yourself or judging the other person in the right way. Use delayed judgment. Thank you. And like when you mentioned professionally, no, I think it's equally appropriate in personal relationships also, because a lot of relationships, the scars are there because of this very aspect, that we judge on what we think they would have thought. It's not about the intentions also, let alone if we try to understand the intentions also, we try to get a different frame of it, but we don't go even to the intentions, to the real thought. So in that sense, I think it's applicable not just in the professional world, but elsewhere as well. In every facet, I think it's something that backfires, because professionally we are looking at a cost, but if you look at relationships as a cost, I think that also has a big cost to it. If you look at it in the personal space as well. Dinesha.
Sir, what I understood and learned, we cannot judge anyone. The reason behind, there are so many creatures on this earth. Each animals have a different character. For example, buffalo has its own character. If it is coming next to us, we can judge like it can harm us. If it snakes come, it can bite. Like that, each animal has its own character, behavior. But when it comes to human, he can kill us, he can bite us, he can shoot us, he can blame us. He can do n number of things. Considering this, you particularly human, we cannot judge human. For example, if I take myself, if I am there in the inside a temple, my behavior will get changed. If I am there in the office, my behavior will be completely different. If I am there with my friend, completely different. If I am there in my family, within my family, it all obviously it will change depend upon the situation and the circumstance. My said situation sometime, why did I behave like that? Some situation, I'll ask myself. I would have kept quiet. Sometime my son will be doing something like this. I'll go and beat him. Then I realized I would have kept quiet sometime. I would have handled in a different way. In such case, obviously it is very difficult to judge people.
Interesting. Thank you, Dinesha. We are not capable of judging. Interesting perspective. Thank you for that. I'll come to more pointers. I think given the paucity of time, we have 2 more points to discuss, because we can add in the next point. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Or one
Quick.
line if I
Go
want
ahead.
to
Go
add.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one line. Right now, if we see in our life, most of us are facing this with overthinking, and the more we judge, the more overthinking suits. So better not to judge and be happy, be light.
Interesting. Thank you.
That's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Bikash, for that. Let's move to the next question. Next question that I have is, when you're blowing your balloons, if you look at the way you blow the balloons, among 100 balloons, if you're blowing, how many of them will pop? How many of them will burst? Just take a case with yourself and think for yourself, how many balloons do they burst while you're blowing? As an example, a sample of 100 balloons. Anyone? None of your balloons burst?
It depends on the quality from where you purchase.
Okay, interesting. Where you purchased it. Akanksha, Dinesha, Priscilla, go ahead.
Sir,
4
it
or
depends upon.
Priscilla, go ahead.
4 or 5, sir.
4 or 5. Interesting. Dinesha, go ahead.
Sir, it depends upon the person. If I restrict myself, blow little here, then I can manage without busting any balloon.
Okay, interesting. The reason I asked this question was because you all took off your balloons. If you have those balloons, look at that balloon right now. If you have it around you, and okay, not in this way. After it was blown, if I were to ask you, Bikash or Akanksha, the balloon that you blew, did it have more chance for further blowing it further when you blew it? No,
I
was
did
all
to
there
the max it is possible.
to the max that you think was possible. Right now,
Yeah, right.
Now you don't have it blown. Others are actually given a sample where I would have told you, blow one more time and it will still not burst.
Yeah.
Now this is the thing where we limit. We often think of what is possible based on the limit that we set.
Right.
Right now I asked you, you said I blowed maximum. Right then when I asked you, if you were to blow one more time, would it burst after that? There was lesser chances, but it would have survived it. Yes, no? Now ask yourself, in the things that you do, what is the limit that you set and how far do you go? The good thing with this is, unlike a balloon, which actually bursts, a human also bursts, but at least there's a possibility of recovery and all those aspects. But do you really test your limits? How many times do you challenge yourself where you want to test how far can you go? How much challenge can you take up? Tomorrow, if you are doing some work in the office, if you are delivering 10 units of work, do you challenge yourself that can I deliver 11? In your studies, in your exams, whatever, however, I'm not pushing on the marks per se, but do you challenge your limits? How often is it that you are strained as a result of the push that you give? I've seen as we progress in life, I've seen the situation where we start getting comfortable within our limit. There was this interesting story of a person called as George Dancing. He was late to a school. And when he was late, he got into the classroom 15 minutes late, and right there he sat and he saw there were two equations on the board. It was a mathematics class. Thinking that they were homework, he immediately noted them and closed the book and left it. He said that I have to submit this, and then he went back home. He went back and struggled with that equation, and he felt that next time onwards, I'll never be late to that class. He struggled, challenged himself, hit his head here, there, everywhere. And eventually, after so much of a hard work, he solved those two equations and silently went into the teacher's cabin and kept it. Akanksha, don't look at yourself like that. You could have been that. So once you put it there, after 3-4 days, what happened is that the teacher at morning 7 a.m. came to his house. And he just knocked the door and he waited for the kid to come out. And the kid was baffled that, did I make some wrong assumption? Did I make a mistake in that homework? Why is he here at 7 a.m. in the morning? And the teacher announced to him that the two equations that were on the board on that day were two unsolved equations by Albert Einstein. And he had just written them on the board to show the students that, see, even Albert Einstein can't solve these problems. And after all the hard work, this little kid solved those problems. George Dancing, I think he's a famous operations management person and awarded from Denmark or Norway. Now ask yourself, what made it possible for that person to solve those equations?
Because the background, the story was not known to him.
Dinesha, anyone else?
He didn't know that it was beyond his limits.
He didn't know that it was beyond the limits, or didn't know the context behind it. How many times do we look at the context which is set by the external world and limit ourselves, saying that I can do only this much? I can deliver only so much. Nobody has ever done more than this. I can't complete 4 chapters in the night. For whatever things that you're doing, ask yourself, what is the statement that you're saying to yourself? Because that is the maximum possible that you can accomplish. Now, in the balloon, the thing is, it will burst, but you'll know what was its possibility. The beautiful thing about human beings are that we are much, much more elastic than what a balloon is. The more we stretch ourselves, the more the possibilities open up of what all we can do. So today, as an example, if you're 20 years old or 25 years or whatever your age is, today, if you're able to do 100 things, 2 years back, you were able to do only 80. But because you did a lot of things, you stretch the possibilities of what all you can accomplish because you did them. And tomorrow, if you are able to challenge yourself and extend your limits, you will be capable of doing 120 things. The question is, are you telling a story to yourself that I can do only 100? Or are you challenging yourself? You will break down sometimes. Like the balloon, there will be days. I've had my days when I've stretched myself. I've had a burnout. I have had a drain. I've had literally days where next 2-3 days I didn't do anything at all. I've had those days too. But the point is, unless you challenge, how do you know? If you're sitting in that limited thing that I can do only 100, you will accomplish never more than 100. You have to keep testing, and that is where your elasticity or the possibilities of what all you can do increases. 5 years back, if you would have asked me what all can I do, I would have said I can do a business. I can do maybe 1 or 2 sessions a month of living life because the content is not there, the opportunity is not there, whatever. The story that I was telling to myself was that. But today, if I'm able to manage a business which is over 100 crores turnover, I'm able to do these sessions. I'm able to do Toastmasters. I'm able to do a software business. It's because the challenging of every limit which is there, and there sometimes it will backfire also. There are days today I get an opportunity that there's one more thing that you can start. Maybe join Lions Club or Rotary Club or BNI. I can think of challenging myself and going into that, but having experienced where there's a burnout, what is the cost of it, I'm able to choose what all am I challenging myself on. But I'll not stay where I am. We'll keep challenging. We'll keep testing those limits a little by little, little by little. But if you're comfortable in where you are just like that balloon with a lot of potential. The world is full of potential, but only able to deliver as much as you are thinking that you can do. So anyone has any story where you have seen that you have limited yourself, or you have seen that because you didn't think of the limit, you went way beyond? Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, long back I have seen one beautiful video. It's very motivational video. I think many people have seen it in YouTube. There is one video called "Give Your Best." Actually, I don't know the name of the game, and there are the few people on the ground. They are practicing for that, and the coach arrives and he kept saying some goal. We have to achieve this something, and everyone laughs at him because that's a number. They feel like there's a unachievable goal, something like that. But then actually the game is one person has to carry the another one in the behind his back, and he has to travel as much as possible. I think some people might have seen that. Then everyone laughs at him. No, it's not possible, something. Then the coach did is the guy who is going to run. Yes, exactly. So he'll keep completely he's close his eyes with some cloth or something, and he keep on saying, okay, give your best, and while he's going to stop or something, go give one more 10-15 steps or 10 steps, something like that. And end of the day, I mean, end of the thing, just when he is completely lost his energy or something, he stops, and once he's open his eyes, and unbelievable goal or is far away he goes away. Then completely everyone will shock, because that is no one feels that that is achievable. Completely exactly what right now you're saying, that is 100% matches.
Thank you.
Yes, we have to challenge ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. We are not in the physical space, but this when I do this session in the physical space, I do this one activity where there's a clock, a stopwatch, and we do push-ups or planks. As an example, planks. How long can you last? People say that they can last for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 45 seconds. With whatever they say, they tell that they can last this much. And I stand behind them facing the audience, and whoso is doing that stands in, does the plank in front of me, and I show the clock to them. And I start counting when it is 30 seconds. I start counting that it is 15 seconds. I tell the audience that for every 2 seconds, count it as 1 second. And you'd be surprised, not a single time has someone not able to achieve what they said they can do, because the limit that they set for themselves was taken off. The limitation that they set. As an example, if someone said they can do it for 30 seconds max, and people started to count 2 seconds for 1 second, they started shout 1, 2, 3. The kid who was doing the plank did it for 30 seconds. With in effect, it actually means he did it for 60 seconds. And just because everyone was counting and the dimension of time was changed, he did not realize how long he can go. So the entire idea behind this point was about the limitations that we set for ourselves. The story that we are setting for ourselves is something that is limiting us. Our potential, the maximum thing that we can achieve, is only limited to what you think you can achieve. Coming to the last point, when you're blowing a balloon, as an example, look at how you blow the balloon. Which is the hardest part of blowing the balloon? Anyone?
Last.
Last.
Initial.
Initial. Initial or last?
Last.
You take a fresh balloon, it is initial. And you take an old balloon, it is the last, because we don't know when it is going to pop. Now here, if you look at the journey of everything that you're doing, you talk of a day, a simple day. You talk of a job. You talk of your 8 hours in work. You talk of your week. You talk of any assignment that you have taken up. You talk of anything. Everything is a journey. And we are all differently wired for where we are comfortable. Some people are, let's start something new. And some people are, let me start something, but 1 week later. I don't know how to do. Can I do it? After 1 week of starting it, this is so boring, yaar. Can't do it. रोज वही करना है, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. I can't see the result. People want to join the gym, they'll start New Year resolution. I'm telling you, start a business on 25th of December and close it on 31st of January. You'll become the richest. You don't need to run the gym at all. You'll become the richest. Because on first, people are there who want to commit, who want to start. The starters, like Chetan was saying or someone else was saying, they are people who are excited about the start. But as soon as it becomes day 5, day 6, day 10, day 20, the passage becomes tough. And then there are other kind of people who are starting, doing it, and close kaise kare yaar? You started the job at 10 o'clock, full excitement, you went through the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Arey, din khatam kyun nahi ho raha yaar? Chetan ko baat mein neend aa gayi. The point is, we are all wired differently for where we have our strength, where we have our limitations. Some people are easy beginners, pathetic finishers. Some people are difficult beginners, but once they get into the groove, nobody can stop them. The question here that you need to ask yourself is, what are you? Then ask the question, how can I mitigate this? If I am a late starter, what can I do? How can I take help so that someone can be there with me to help me start? Or what practice do I have so that I can start? So that this limitation which is there within me, the way I'm wired, the way I do things, doesn't stop me. So if you look at the journey, look at every journey, everything that you do, and break that down and understand yourself. Are you that challenger at the start, or at the passage, or at the end? And accordingly build your support system through which you'll get your weak areas to be covered by some practices which will help you in doing or covering up that lesser motivation thing. I'm not saying it's your weakness. All I'm saying is, once you reflect on how you are at different phases of things, you will realize that where you need help or where you need support in the process, so that you can be a master of every phase. Because the challenge is, there can be great beginners, but if you're a bad finisher, you're not going to make it. But if you're a bad beginner, you're not going to get started on things. Or if you start them, they'll be delayed. There'll be a lag in the way in all the things that you can do. I had this challenge. Until I get a program, I won't prepare. 2 years back, luckily I was blessed with Speak Up Club. Come what may, Saturday 9 p.m. will come. And I have to deliver. And if I have to deliver, I'll work on a program. If I have to work on a program, even if I'm late, by Friday night, if I've not done anything, I will sit and work. I have my challenges. I wanted that opportunity first, and then I'll prepare on it. And so Speak Up Club worked for me. Ask yourself in your job, in your days, as an example, a routine, a weekday, today, where is the challenge that you have? Is it in beginning, in getting started? Or is it in that daytime between 11 and 4? How do I work? Ask yourself of what is your strength and what is your relative weakness, and see how you can strategize that to work and build yourself better. Because the master or the person who's successful is someone who's a master of this entire journey. One facet or two facets won't help. It is the master of this entire journey. It is who can become successful by completing from the beginning to the passage to the closing. Anyone who wants anything to share before I close this, and we can move on to the closure or the second segment of this meeting quickly? Any experiences anyone would like to share, what they do or how they do, or what works for them, what doesn't work for them? Dr. Rashmi, go ahead.
You can use your maximum potential. Means if you understand your capacity, then you will stretch that much. And everybody has actually, for example, young children, they have a lot of capacity for language. I just observe now with me, my friends have grandchildren, and they taught them 2, 3 language, 4 language, and can't believe within 4, 5 year old children, they speak 4, 5 language fluently. And I am compared with them. I said, why I'm not? So if you are using maximum your own capacity, you will achieve.
Interesting. Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Anyone else would like to share anything else?
Rahul, one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
What I was thinking, when we look at people who are very successful, so one thing is quite common in them: following the routines. Like most of them, they give up. They want immediate results, and they start something and they would look forward to have some results over there. But when we look back in ancient times, and even our elders, they have their set routines, like right from the morning, and this is the time they have to wake up, they'll wake up, and all the things are very perfectly streamlined. They have their set routines, and that gives long-term results, and it sets the tempo of the home or office or whatever you may say. But usually in this modern generation, people won't believe in that. They get bored immediately after doing certain things for 2, 3 days, and then they feel like to switch out to different thing. But long-term results and very good results we get only when we follow these routines. So that has a good impact.
Thank you, Pratnam. Very well said. And indeed, from what has been seen and the things that we have done over the past long time, I think when we look or reflect, it is more of a consistency and staying in the game, and lesser of being driven by emotions or moods on how we are performing. That's something that we have seen as a result, and how this entire Speak Up Club journey also has turned out to be for us. Thank you, Pratnam.
Yes,
Yes, Jay, you are saying something?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I wanted to share an experience of mine. As a child, like 10-year-old, I used to see my uncle typing very fast on laptop. I used to very much fantasize on how he can do that, and like used to see how is he able to manage to like type through 10 fingers on the laptop. Then I had this phobia that I'd never be able to do it. But as and when I did it, like I started it, it continuously came to me. It naturally came to me. The journey was boring, but now I can type in like 60, 70 words per minute. That is something I feel it has done. I believed in myself and I could deliver it. I feel great about it. That's it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Jay, for sharing that a practical, small, micro skill that can be worked out. If that is possible in that level, I think for everything, you just have to make sure you're breaking them down and seeing how you can develop that aspect of the story. Thank you, Jay, for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share anything before we close this segment and then move? Yes, ma'am.
Have realized off late that each person's journey is different. Just like each balloon can fly according to its capacity. So once you start accepting that it's your journey, then peace dawns on you. And don't compare yourself with others. Each person's journey is different.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Another different perspective where we are all balloons. If you look at it that way, then we all serve different purpose, and some are there for decoration, some are there for to be played by the kids, and some are blown in the air, but each of them serving a purpose of their own. Wonderfully said, Uma, and thank you. So with that, we come to an end of this session, this segment of today's meeting, and all I would like to say is, when I look at this simple, yes, Akanksha, go ahead.
Am I audible now, sir?
Audible, yes, go ahead.
Okay, I couldn't talk much before because of network issue. So I just throughout this balloon concept, the one main idea I like that is a balloon that flies high is a balloon that has air that's filled lighter in it, which has air that's like hydrogen or helium, which is generally lighter than the atmospheric air. That's what flies higher. That small differentiating factor of you being a little better than the rest leads you places that could be as high as the sky, or you might just end up somewhere, but you will definitely end up somewhere. So that's a very interesting concept I found in this idea of balloons and having air filled within them. Another thing was pressure and temperature. I won't get too much into science right now, but like when the temperature increases, the pressure automatically increases. And that is what makes you pop. When you keep increasing the stress over you, it makes you ultimately burst out. So limiting is good, but trying too hard may not always give you the best results either. That's just a different perspective I found to things.
A thin line, indeed. A very valid point, I would say, Akanksha, on the second one, especially like it said, stress isn't bad. It's the good stress or the bad stress. The definition of that is where the problem is. Good stress is something that will drive you further and expand your limits. The bad stress is where once in a while, if you're able to cope up with it, it will help you stretch your possibilities, but sometimes it has a possibility of backfiring also. I think, yeah, it's a thin line. There's no, I can't tell a degree of pressure right now in your scientific language, which will help us propel further or not. Dr. Rashmi, go ahead.
Means sometimes pressure means adrenaline secretion should be there. If you are very relaxed, you will not go anywhere. So there should be something kick should be there. So you have some motivation, some stimulation. Otherwise, you will not reach anywhere.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Very, very valid point again. Akansha reiterates your second point, where the good stress, bad stress, the stress and expansion of your possibilities come from how much you are trying to touch base on the limit and expand it a bit at a time. Thank you. So with that, we come to an end of this segment, and I would just like to leave you all with this thought. A balloon is something that we have stayed with or seen all through our lifetime. It took me a hard effort to see what we can learn from it, and all from a simple balloon. From what I see, there's so much to learn from everything that is around us. The only thing that is limiting or not opening the doors for us in the learning opportunities is our ability to reflect on things. We see things happen to us, we see things happening around us. But if we don't leverage on the reflections that we can get from that, I think we are missing out on a possibility of learning and having different dimensions of our life being impacted from those things which are right around us. That opens the doors if you are reflecting on what is happening and how it can make sense to your life in different dimensions. I would like to close this session on this segment with this thought, and I would want you to reflect once you go back from this session of what all is around you and what all have you not seen deeply enough to learn something from that. Because there will be something that you can learn. If there's science, if there's logic, if there's something behind something, the way it is operating, I think there is something that we can take back in our own lives as well, in whatever facet. I've done programs on this balloon. I've done programs on stock market and life. I've done different programs like that, where the dimensions of what is visible are taken away and applied on different facets of life. And I think I found many answers like that only by reflecting and taking it in a different dimension. With that, I close this segment and let's move to the next segment, because we are at this last session of Speaker Club. I would like to leave the floor open now to share your stories, your ideas, your experiences from being a part of Speaker Club, whether it's one session or it was way back, months back when you've attended last session, but what has been your reflection or what has been your learning? I would like you to share your stories of what you learned from this experience of being a part of Speaker Club at some point in time. I leave the floor open, and once everyone is done, I'll go back and close. So we have something around 10 minutes so that we can close this segment and then close the session. And like I mentioned already, last 3-4 sessions I've been doing that. This is last session of Speaker Club in the current format that it is in. We have launched the Speaker Club inner circle, which is going to begin from January 2023, which is going to be a membership based rather than an open session like the way we have been having. We will be having some sessions like these once in a month, but that will be open to all members. But the rest of the programs will be closed and open to only the members who are a part of the inner circle. I leave this platform now open to share your thoughts or your stories of what your experience has been as a part of this club. Over to you, Uma ma'am, first.
Thank you, Rahul. First of all, hearty congratulations to you, Pragya, and the whole team who have made this happen. And a lot of takeaways from every session. Like you said, sharing perspectives and learning from others. And even from a small balloon, we can learn so much. And every session, we have to reflect on what we have learned. And that is why we are going to make it a paid club, because it is not just enough that we attend this session and go away. We have to work on it and see what we are learning from each session. So when we are committed, I'm sure we are going to learn something. And I want everyone who have been a regular member of the Speak Up Club to join the paid session and make it even better and fruitful in your life. So I have benefited from this club a lot. I have improved my confidence. I have got opportunity to host a couple of sessions. Thanks to Rahul for that. And I'm also growing with Speak Up Club. Thank you. Wishing you most and more.
Thank you, ma'am. Who would like to go next? Dr. Rashmi, go ahead.
Yes, I really enjoyed each and every session. And best part in your session is uncomfortable issue you are making so easy and open door, to reflect on that area. So that is really means persona, you are conducting the session. And I actually am excited my experience and explore my experience because of your session, and I learned a lot of things. Because small things sometimes we neglect, we are not highlight on that area, and your session is highlighting on that area. So that is the light on that subject, and very variety of subject we learn. I can't imagine, so many subjects you are exploring and keeping in front of us. So it was really enjoyable actually, and enjoyable, that is the perfect word, because a lot of things we are learning and we have a lot of pressure. So there is no pressure in your lesson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. And I think Dr. Rashmi is one person I have always admired, because I think she's right currently in the US or London. Where are you, ma'am, right now?
Now I am in London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Despite being so far off and despite the time differences, I've always appreciated the fact that she's joined us in most of the sessions. And until recently, when she was occupied with her daughter's marriage and other things, she has been inactive. But otherwise, I've always appreciated she taking the effort, despite her age and despite the kind of community and the kind of discussions that we have. The things that she doesn't need, and yet she's there to add her perspectives, and I'm happy for that. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm taking objection. What, in spite of my age?
Okay, I said your daughter's marriage, so yeah, okay, I'll take that back. Thank you, Dr. Rashmi.
Okay. That's I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who'd like to go next? Anyone?
Yes, I'll go, sir.
Go ahead, Dinesha.
Sir, this session is like a colors, different color. Each session is like a one color. In life, all colors are required to decorate our life in a beautiful way. The things what happened, we have learned. That means we have simply decorated in the temporary ways. The sessions, how it went, you also realized. It should be permanent. Any skills or any topic, first we will learn, practice, implement, become an expert. Now we have learned. So may we miss that last 3 parts. Practice, implement, become expert. That we are going to the next step from January onward, that we have clearly mentioned. Those who are willing to go to that next 3 steps, those who are going to join that. But I am very happy joining this platform, and so many colors I have added in my life, so that wherever somewhere in there I can showcase those colors, because we have learned that. But we are not become expert in that, but we have learned, we can show that the color. Somewhere it will go shade away, that we are not stopping this platform, that will improve that long lasting color in upcoming days from January onwards, what we have decided. Thank you very much, and a special thanks to Uma Madam. Because of ma'am, one WhatsApp message, because of technology we are here. We are best utilizing this platform. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dinesha. Yes. It's
Yeah,
coming up. Yes,
Rahul,
go ahead, ma'am. Pratna, go ahead.
Because I was taking my turn, because I'm not a regular attendee here. So I was giving chance to all the people who are attending regularly. But still, although I have attended 3 or 4 sessions, hardly, but what I could make out of these sessions, I would like to praise you for 3 things, Rahul. Okay, first thing, for every session, you do your homework very well, because that preparedness has been noticed, that you come with the preparation. And the second thing is the beauty of like connecting with everyone, all the audience. You reach out to each and every person, and that is a very good quality of any public speaker. So you connect with the audience. And the third thing is giving importance to audience. And the third thing is you are creating an environment which is very comfortable. Recently, someone told that very uncomfortable topics also taken in a very comfortable manner, and even the situation is lighter all the time. So that's how, even though I attend 3 to 4 sessions, but I feel that I belong to this group. I am connected to this community. So that belongingness you are developing. And these are the 3 good qualities which I have noticed in this session. Apart from this, I really appreciate all the members that so sweetly they are attending in a very regular manner and giving their valuable inputs. So that is really commendable. So this is going on very well.
Thank you, Pratna ma'am. Priscilla, go ahead.
I also attended very rarely only, but whenever I come to the session, and the way your explanation and the way you are changing in my life was very much even 4 or 5 session also, it is really valuable. One word, if I wanted to say, you are like a diamond. That is and you are making others same as like you. So that is what I wanted to mention. Thank you for making us like you. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. But one thing which is beautiful about diamond is that it only reflects what comes to it, and that is something that I've seen, that the people who have graced this platform is what they have helped me in polishing myself. And more importantly, if you see something beautiful, it's because you are beautiful. That's what is the reflection of how it works with a diamond also. Thank you. Chetan, you raised your hand and you lowered it. If you want to go first, and after that, Ellen.
I am glad to be a part of this platform, but at the same time, I regret that I was a bit late to join. And afterwards, even I was not able to attend all the sessions after joining. So that's my regret. But I am thankful to you for such a beautiful platform.
Thank you, Chetan. Yeah, among the early members that I would say, Chetan is among, from the audience that I see, he's among the third person in this audience who joined or started with Speak Up Club way back, I think around 30th or 35th session. And I think we have already also had one session with his institute, Career Connect with his institute. That is almost, we are talking of almost a 1.5 to 2 year back period when we're talking of
but
what
still,
this experience.
It was after 50th session, I guess.
Yeah, so you got regular after that, and then you had the break again. Thank you, Chetan. Ellen.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I have to tell Uma ma'am as well as you. I also attended more than 50 sessions. That's nice actually. What I used to think, what I done, I attended physically 125th, but I have seen earlier whatever YouTube videos and wherever that I attended the earlier thing also I can feel. But whenever that actually I avoid Saturday. Recent lot of takeaways there. What I need exactly lot of things, right? Life actually. So a lot of life learning I have actually taken from here, from you exactly. I can tell others also will tell actually other perspective. Some of the groups, what we can do, we can't share with the lot of things if we'll feel actually not comfortable like that something. But here I felt actually I can share what I think exactly. But other groups actually I'm attending lot of things there. I'll not that much comfortable. I will think and talk. But here I talk and think, okay, I spoke like this. So some comfortability like that, lot of nice things actually. After that I used to see my speech, what I spoke here like that. A lot of improvement actually. After joining here only, I joined a lot of things because of Uma ma'am also. So it's nice actually. I improved a lot, I can tell. Confidence as well as I earlier had confidence, but I will not nothing actually. I will talk. So a lot of things I can take from you and all. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ellen. Yes, Bakruddin sir, go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much, Mr. Rahul. You are conducting and giving back to the community whatever have, and you are giving back to all, and you are taking insight from the experts, which is Uma ma'am and Dr. Rashmi, which I have seen always. Uma ma'am always there and always is giving some insights, which is giving lots of takeaway. So I joined because of Mr. Rahul. I was connected with him through Facebook. I was looking for improve my communication or the speeches. And this is the way how I connected with you, living life. And that I searched your profile and found you are from some other place, but later I came to know you are from my same city, Hyderabad. So I thought it's a very good opportunity, but now you are taking, this is the last show, so I thought I will not miss. And I have to say you thank you, whatever you are giving back to the community. And lots of takeaway I have taken. And with that, I would like to say whatever you are doing, I think it's a great and amazing. And let keep continue, and all of them will grow. And later we will meet again. And I want to become like you as a living life coach. how you are doing it, but I don't know. I need some kind of a subscription or any kind of thing so I can be take the same opportunity. And thank you all for being a part of this wonderful last session as mentioned by Mr. Rahul. And that's it from my side. And back to you, Mr. Rahul.
Thank you, Mohammed sir. Thank you for that feedback and appreciate it. So yes, anyone else before we come to the close for the session? Anyone else left?
Rahul, can I?
Madhu? Go ahead, Madhu. Go ahead, Madhu.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, thank you very much for giving this opportunity, Rahul, and not only you and the entire community, because completely, as you mentioned many times, this is a place where we can share our perspectives. And I completely believe that whenever I join session, I mean, from 78th or 74th session, continuously I joined maybe 2 or 3 sessions I missed, but different perspectives and different topics. And I'm a book lover, and every time when I read a book, and I think like author did a lot of research because he has given error more than 10 or 15 examples, but the same thing is happening here in one session. And that's really amazing for me, and the different perspectives. And one more thing, I respect the way you're conducting. No one no, like no, here they don't feel like if I say something, maybe others says no, maybe they may think something like, no, that atmosphere is not at all there. And the welcoming nature, that's the first thing I love, because like me, or someone is struggling, or trying to share their opinions, whether it is a good or not, it is a perspective. So those things and really helpful in our real life. And definitely I'm very fortunate to join, and thank you very much. And I'm no, in the coming months from January also, I would like to learn more as I already enrolled. Thank you very much, Rahul, and everyone, and especially to Uma ma'am also, because she's the reason to join this. Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you, Madhu. Madhu's commitment speaks from the fact that he, like when I mentioned that this is the last session, he still wanted to join, though he's in the village right now. And that's the reason you would see that his video is off. Otherwise, most of the sessions, his video is on and he's constantly engaging. Thank you, Madhu. Abdul sir, go ahead.
Hi, Rahul. Rahul, I mean, I just came to know today that this is the last session for the current year, and then you will start the session from January next year in a different format. Well, I would like to just say one thing, that I believe you are a man on mission. This attribute of running this Living Life Speak Up Club is like a saint-like attribute. Honestly, you have brought a lot of happiness and positivity. Whenever I attended your session, I felt so light after attending. I felt so happy every time I attended the session. Well, I just would like to thank you a lot. Okay, and thank you so much. And I wish you all the very best for your future sessions. And I look forward to join starting next year as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul sir. Yes, who else is left? Akanksha, go ahead.
I've been part of this club for over 2 years, and I'm just getting 2 minutes to talk right now. Kinda unfair, but I'll try to summarize, because that's what I've learned. One of the most important things I've learned with Speaker Club is trying to summarize what I'm going to say. So I'm going to do that. If you would have told me 2.5 years ago that I would be sitting on a Saturday night for, we always say it's 1 hour, but it's never 1 hour. So approximately for 2 hours, constantly on a Zoom meeting with so many people having such wide experiences and who are basically a lot older than me, I wouldn't have ever believed you. And I wouldn't have ever believed you if you told me that I would be in a place to talk so freely. If you would go and watch older videos, you'll see me talking as a completely different person. You may not even recognize me at a point, because that's just how I was. And I've progressed so much with Speaker Club. I wouldn't even believe if you told me at this age, I would have had a job thanks to this club. Definitely not, because I didn't know I had this commitment in me. I didn't know I could actually do something like this. But I'm so glad, because this happened so randomly. I never knew any of it would ever happen. I'm pretty sure none of us ever thought that 125 sessions was even a possible thought to do it. My friend sent me a link saying, okay, this is one of my father's friends. He said there's this club, lockdown, we shall join. She joined, she left, everyone joined, everyone left. I didn't. I'm glad I stayed. I was 13 when I began with Speak Up Club, and now I'm 16. I don't know what to feel about that, because one, that makes me feel old, but two, it actually makes me feel happy that I continued for so long with such a wide range of experiences that I had. I've had sessions, I've attended sessions, all smiley. I've attended sessions through tears. I've attended sessions while being sick. So, except for one session, this is my 124th session, and I'll be very proud of that. Except, I still regret missing that one session. It was just one session, but it's still a sort of a, I don't know what to call that, an emptiness, a sort of a lack to it. But I'm glad I stuck to this platform, because this is where I grew. If I had to check how much ever I've grown, that's how I check for the older recordings of Speak Up Club. I see myself. It's not pictures where I see how old I've grown. It's through these Speak Up Club recordings. It's through that one specific playlist of Speak Up Club that's always been so close to me. And everyone here have been so close to me, so many experiences. Thank you to all the regulars who've been here, who've been adding a meaning to my life. Every single one of y'all are a part of whoever I am. Thank you, Rahul sir, for this platform. And thanks to Pragya ma'am too. She's not here right now, but she has played a major role in shaping up this club too. So thanks to the both of you. And thank you everyone who's been here.
Thank you, Akanksha. It was almost like tears in my eyes. And if there is one person who beats me and my consistency in this club, beats me, not closer to me, beats me, it is going to be Akanksha, because of, like she mentioned, she's attended 124 of the 125 sessions, and I have actually delegated a few sessions. So I might have attended somewhere closer to 116, 118 sessions of these 125 sessions. But I often say I have been a part of 125. I'm just hoping that Akanksha is not seeing me somewhere. But yes, that's how the journey has been. I would like to take 3 to 4 minutes of your time for my closing address. And if anyone else is left to share their thoughts, I'm sorry we are late today. I hope you can stay back for the next 4 to 5 minutes max if there's nobody else. Anybody else? Jay, go ahead.
So I have just attended quite a few sessions of yours, Rahul. Still, when I come here, I feel like even my perspective is also being listened to, because outside in college, people like the older people don't generally ask for opinions for younger ones. We are just asked to follow what they do. So having these many people, like the wide variety of experiences, I feel my mind has little in these few sessions had broadened more than what would I have experienced uh, at other places. So thank you, Rahul, and everyone who's been attending here.
Thank you, Jay. Sri Krishna, go ahead.
Yes, so it has been, I started attending these sessions from 55th session or something like that. Then for some odd reason, like the value these sessions have been adding in my life. But after, I was, on and off my video of for quite few sessions because I was in office. Aaj to ghar mein hu, but yeah, after a long time. Like, see, one thing is I got Saturday week off after a long time. So yeah, that's serious. So going to office and all, but whatever I have learned many things, like and as everyone said, including what Madhu sir said, the freedom to talk. Jo bhi Madhu sir or Lakshminarayan sir said. So that is one of the biggest reason I like this club actually. So it's been a good journey, and I'm excited to join the inner circle as well.
Thank you, Sri Krishna. It's already 10:32. Let me quickly wrap up my thing and share with you a thing about how I see this journey has been for me. When I began with a business idea in mind, not with regard to earning part of it, but with regard to the way I'm going to do it professionally, and I'm going to build this thing. But as time progressed by, the shapes and the dimensions in the way I looked at it, and what this platform did to people, the way feedback I got from the people about how it is changing life or impacting life, I started to see this platform more as a community that I built for myself, and something that I've given for all the people from the feedback that I've heard until now with regard to how you're able to freely express yourself, share yourself. Like Jay was telling, even though he's younger, he's able to talk. Akanksha from 13 to 16. I felt this is the need of the hour with regard to how we are all kind of disconnected. When we began with COVID, it was a different case where it was disconnected because of COVID. But somewhere I felt that even today, without COVID, we are still disconnected at many places. And this is where I thought this community comes into the picture. And this community has become a piece of my heart. Over the last 2.5 years, birthdays, anniversaries, festivals, joining from the hospital, joining from the parties, joining silently, I've done it all because of the simple fact of how I viewed this community and how this has become a part of me. It's been 2.5 years, and when I look at it, unlike Akanksha's 13 to 16, for me it's 33 to 36. So it's still a small portion of my life when we talk of it in percentages terms. But still, when I look at this 17-year or 18-year-old journey of living life, I see this as one of my biggest accomplishments of what we have built over here, and how I was one of the elements to drive this through and keep it sustaining for such a long period. One very easy way of falling trap to success is to think that you know it all. And every time I've come here, I've heard perspectives from each one of you all, which amazes me, tells me that I still don't know a lot of things. I come with so much preparation. I come with so much of an effort to deliver one program, but then suddenly someone says something and I feel, okay, I did hard work for 1 week and I didn't know this perspective. And that is where I realized that we are all kind of limited in our own thinking abilities and how we are conditioned. And the only way to prosper or move forward is to keep those doors of your mind open. And that is what has happened for me with this community. The immense amount of things that I've learned professionally with regard to the skill set and all those aspects, I've learned so many perspectives from each one of you all, and you all have contributed without you all knowing also that how you're contributing to my life in whatever I'm doing. And I feel the ideas and the expressions that have happened here have also contributed to your life also. That's where people might be wanting to come back. Otherwise, it's not that I'm a Bahubali or I'm some Shah Rukh Khan that you're coming back to see me or listen to me. The fact is that you come back because there's something that you're taking back, and it is changing the way you operate your life. Apart from this, the lighter nature of what we're doing here. So with regard to the development part of it, I've seen myself changing over these 2.5 years as a result of each one of you. Talking of it personally, I don't know where or what I've done, but I've been fortunate to have come in touch with so many people over here through this platform. Right now, what I see in front of me also, and there are at least over 20 another people beyond the screen that we are seeing right now who I've got in touch with and have become a part of my life, so much so that they are more like a family now. So Akanksha works for Living Life. Uma ma'am I've been in touch with, Ellen, Dinesha, and Sri Krishna, Chetan, all those people that we're seeing over here. And beyond that, there's so many people who are not there today, but they have been a part of this journey. And they become more like a family. And it has completely changed the way my life and my relationships are today. And a large part of it, or the large part of interaction, happens with these people. And I'm grateful that you all have embraced or graced this platform and allowed me to be a part of your life. And that is something that I'll never ever miss, or I would never ever take for granted, because you are somewhere a part of me today. I've always said this in the previous sessions also. Whenever I stand on stage, I talk on something, there is somewhere Uma Natraj talking from my mouth. There is somewhere Ellen talking, Akanksha talking from what I am delivering as an idea, because I have learned it from you all. Forget about the books or the research or all those things happen. I am a people person. I see people and I grasp or take ideas from people. And that is what you all have given me over this last 2.5 years. So the three things that I've learned from this journey about Speak Up Club itself was: one, consistency over pace. There have been instances where I would have given up, but I would still persisted and stayed there. And how? And that is what has helped me. Second, keep adding value. The returns will follow. Here, it's not about the bank account or the money which we're talking of. The returns with regard to the respect, with regard to the love, the relationship that we all have born and built is something which I look at and admire and respect a lot. The third thing is there's a cost. There's a cost to everything that you're doing. I wasn't aware of the cost that I was paying by staying on Saturdays here. I admire, I respect all of the things that I've got from here, but there's also a cost that I'm paying as a result of being here and committed to this journey for so long. My friends don't call me on a Saturday because they know I'll be here. My family has started to assume that it's Saturday, so you are not available. There have been instances where I have adjusted all my plans so that I can make it a point that Saturday nights I am here and I'm delivering these programs without fail. That's the reason every time this instance which has come, there I have to quit or I have to give up on a session. There's been so much of a turmoil that how can I not deliver a session? How can I not have a session on a Saturday night? These have been instances which have taught me, and we all have bonded in different ways. I've seen Uma ma'am during her COVID times, during Prashant's time, Akanksha, Vijaya during her dengue, or Rabia during her mother's loss. Different people have had the connect, and I've been honored that they all trusted me and built a bond about this relationship and respected me for what they have. And I'm grateful that all this was possible because of the Speak Up Club. And as I come towards the end, this idea of changing it to a membership model had its own doubts from my end, questions whether I should do it, should not do it. But Dinesha beautifully mentioned it here. The idea is we are or have to look at how we are following up. Mere learning or that paint which Dinesha was talking of will not stay longer if it doesn't get deeper. And the very reason we are changing this format from January onwards was for this. The reason why we are taking a break is because I told you the cost of this persistence and this continuity has taken a toll on me also, with regard to how many things have changed in my life as a result of this one commitment, apart from obviously my other commitments of business, job, and everything that I do. This has taken a toll for a long time, and I thought it will be a good break for me for taking a 2-week break, a 2-month break, and coming back refreshed, renewed, and beginning with a new year with a new dimension of learning and giving a proper service to whoever is part of that journey. And like I mentioned, we'll still be having the open sessions like this once in a month so that we do not miss out, or it's not all about who are committed to learn only. So we'll stay connected in that sense and continue this journey. I have nothing much to add, but I'm choking up now because there's been, like Akanksha was saying, 2.5 years. For me also, it's 2.5 years, but it's been a journey that I'm always going to be ever grateful for, and even more grateful for all of you all for being a part of this journey and making my life beautiful. Hopefully, this remains a beautiful part of your experience, whether we are working together or not, and all those things are different. But hope these memories of this Saturday night will keep ringing you. Last week, when Uma sent me a message, it's Saturday and I'm missing the session. It felt a sweet, sour feeling that we are not having the session, and yet sweet because it leaves a mark that every time you talk of a Saturday and you talk of a 9 p.m., this has been so long that it's going to be ingrained, for me at least. I'm not sure about others, but for me at least, it's going to be ringing a bell every time it's Saturday at 9 p.m. and I'm not doing anything. I'm not sure how I'm going to take it from next week onwards. With that, I call it an end, and let me close the session the usual way. And whoever wants to can stay. I know, I understand it's already 10:40. Whoever wants to can stay back after the session for 2 to 3 minutes. Let me close the session the usual way. Saturday nights have never been this beautiful for the last 125 Saturday nights now. It's an honor to be listening to your perspectives, sharing our perspectives, and gaining new perspectives. Thank you for the love that you keep coming back every Saturday night and adding life to our lives and to every member of this community. I can't say see you all next Saturday. Until we meet again, keep smiling and have these memories as fond ones, and look forward to see you again in Crossroads once again soon. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good